I do have a button already, so I don't need it, but I would take it if it was. Yeah, I want us to the end of the day. We're gonna find things like I should follow you and find
Hi, you're watching ACT TV. We're here at the Deportee Suitcase March at Federal Plaza, right outside of the ICE building. We're here with an immigration attorney, Gustavo Gutierrez from New Jersey. Gustavo, can you tell us a little about your work and why you felt it was important to come out here today?
Thank you. Yes, I'm glad to be here today to raise awareness to a very serious issue about what's destroying our communities here in New York and throughout the country of an inhumane immigration system. And the reason we're here, the program sponsored by New Sanctuary Coalition, is to actually make real what is happening every day of people having to pack and leave their communities. And so symbolically today the point is, what would you take with you? What would you take as far as your belongings? And so here we have this representation, as well as many organizations here on behalf of raising awareness on this issue. The Trump administration, Jefferson Beauregard Sessions, the administration period is doing a racist, is committing inhumane acts because of their racist ideas and views of immigrants. And we're here to show that Americans, everybody, everyday Americans are upset, and we want this to end. We want to visualize here. We're here at 26 Federal Plaza in New York, where immigration is on the 12th floor, where people come here every day hoping for a better shot. But what this administration is doing is tearing apart laws that have been well established for a long time, just so that they could enforce what they call their laws in order to separate families. And in this country, we have many people that deserve a shot to stay here, but this country has basically decided to change the game in the middle of the game, and that's what they've done. And here today, we're here to remind you, what's happening on the border is just the tip of the iceberg. This has been happening for years, and this administration is on steroids with their racism, with their vitriol, and they want to make sure to remind everyone that these people don't belong here. But in reality, as though they call these people animals, the animals are the administration who are acting inhumane, violating international human rights, violating their own laws just so they could support their racist policies. So that's why I'm here today.
There were a couple things you said. One is that, first, this is not a new issue, and second, this administration is like previous administrations but on steroids. As an immigration attorney, is there anything that you see in your work that maybe people are not aware of, that you could share with our viewers who are watching live?
Yes. One thing that's clear is the administration is trying to make harder for people to stay in the country under the old asylum laws. What they're doing is changing the rules in the middle of the game. Jefferson Sessions, through the powers that he says he has, he's been changing the rules about asylum. In a matter of A.B., a woman who was abused from Central America, he basically changed the law, used the opportunity to send a case directly to himself so he could change the law and say, hey, if private actors, so-called gangs or anybody are abusers, they commit acts against human beings, that it doesn't matter that the government can intervene or not, and hence we're going to get rid of those. And that's creating bad law, and it's making it very tenuous for people to come here. Before that, it was a little bit not as easy to win these cases, but it's now even more hard, and so it's becoming every day much more a real thing. Another thing too is the enforcement, the immigration, the way this administration decides to mess with who to deport. The Obama administration, at least in its wisdom, even though I believe it was too much power, nevertheless had discretion as to who should we target to remove. Now, there used to be 4 distinctions, and one was obviously the criminals, the ones that they call the people that really need to be removed. And then the lowest priority would be people, everyday people. Now those people are treated equally, and we're going to remove everybody. And that's exactly what's been happening. It's creating a sense of fear in this community. And I know it's created a sense of fear because it's mostly people from the community, American citizens who are good neighbors, who see the fear in in their fellow human beings' eyes. And then to be reality, most immigrants, most undocumented people are not going to come because they're afraid. Why wouldn't they be? We're surrounded by signs that say deport ICE or whatever, like that are pro-Trump. But here we go. There's one sign over that says abolish Ocasio, and you don't know exactly who they're referring to. And this is just to create a sense of fear. And I think this is why Americans have to stand up. And this is why I'm here standing up.
And one final question. How is this a personal issue for you? Do you know anybody, friends or family? How is this personal for you?
Well, like me, like most Americans, I came from people who are not originally from this land. So my parents were Mexican immigrants who came in the late 60s, early 70s, who were, quote unquote, illegal. And the thing is even though they did something illegal, they did something moral. They were looking for a better life. Like many of these people are fleeing. And my parents eventually got status. But what happened was in the late 70s, 80s, and early 90s, the laws became much more repressive and oppressive. And as me, a son of Mexican immigrants, I feel like it's my duty to help those people in the past. But more importantly, I want to get rid of this argument about legality equal morality. Slavery was legal, never moral. The oppression of African Americans through Jim Crow was legal, never moral. The oppression of women, minorities, the oppression of the red man in this country, and many others. The Chinese Exclusion Act, legal but never moral. And this is what I'm here to remind you, that legality does not equal morality. Calling someone illegal doesn't, although it make it legal, it doesn't make it moral. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
So we're here, you're watching ACT TV. We're on the steps of Federal Plaza, where on the 12th floor are ICE offices. And let's look at some of the signs that people say. One is return the kids, end detention. Another one is a picture of Trump. We don't need no segregation. Sorry.
The whole family comes, so you have a sister and aunt, a girlfriend, and an aunt who's already just hysterical anyway. Yeah. Luckily, I have two Spanish speakers that I keep those. See you Tuesday morning. Spanish. This coming Tuesday.
Sanctuary Hood walks. That's when we walk around the neighborhood.
Sorry.
Oh, they got rid of that guy.
Again, you're watching ACT TV. We're here outside of the ICE building at Federal Plaza, where people have packed suitcases. What happens when somebody is in detention and they're being deported? A family member is allowed to pack a 25-pound suitcase. So what organizers here have asked people to do is to pack suitcases for their loved ones and imagine what they would pack in those suitcases, what clothes, what books, any photographs. So here are the suitcases lined up. At 6 p.m. here in New York, there's going to be performances. Right now, people are gathered on the steps of the ICE building. So we are here with one of the organizers of today's march, Meryl Ranzer. Meryl, can you tell us about the organization and how this came about, this march today?
So the main organization is New Sanctuary Coalition, NYC, and it came about because Sarah Gonzalo, one of the organizers, was speaking to one of our friends who had to pack a suitcase, a 25-pound suitcase, for a loved one who was being deported, and she realized it was a really poignant way for people to understand what's happening. To like, real human beings are impacted. This is not just some policy in DC.
And can you talk at all about what she said about that, the packing? Did she describe any of the things that she packed? Can you talk?
I mean, honestly, I wasn't privy to the conversation, but I mean, I'll just say personally, when I was charged with coming up with this myself, and like imagining I did a video, I could barely even just imaginally, it was excruciating to imagine packing for my husband. And so, you know, I am a privileged person here in this country, and I am not impacted, but I have to be here for those who are, because every single day there are people who have to pack these suitcases, and they don't know if they'll ever see their loved one again.
Can you talk? Oh, we're going to start. Okay, thank you so much, Meryl.
Thank you.
We are so happy that you're here. My name is Kaji, and I am the co-chair of New Sanctuary, and on behalf of everybody who has organized this important event, we're really glad that you're here. Now, we're asking everybody who's a spectator to go to the back on the stairs so that you can see. The speakers will be speaking here, so if you have been invited and confirmed to speak, please do come here with me here on the platform. Press, we're asking you to take the first few stairs here so you can get your shots and be able to share the news of what we're doing here all over the world. Thank you.
Sarah at some point. Not right now. I don't see her.
Hey, how are you? Thank you.
What would you pack? Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, she has a hashtag? Oh, okay, cool. Perfect.
You're watching act.tv. We are live here outside Federal Plaza near Police Square. Actually, if you could see behind me, this is the ICE
Step back as far as you can.
building, one of them in New York City. On the 12th floor of this building is where ICE offices are, and people have gathered here. And the question and the hashtag is, what would you pack? When people are detained and are about to be deported, their family members can pack one suitcase, a 25-pound suitcase. So what the organizers have done, because one apparently did have experience with that, is they sent out a call and they asked people to bring suitcases with that question in mind: what would you pack? We heard from an immigration attorney from New Jersey here whose parents were migrants. And we also spoke to one of the organizers from New Sanctuary Coalition. If you're watching right now, please share, like, make a comment. the speakers are gonna start pretty soon, and then at 6 p.m. they have performances scheduled. As you can see, the crowd here gathered along the steps. Behind them is the ICE building in New York. As you can see here, people are bringing their suitcases. Inside are notes, probably photographs, artwork. I'm not sure if people who are watching live here, one of the interviews that we had earlier mentioned across the street, there are the usual trolls. You can kind of barely see right now, but I think one of their signs said "Thank God for Trump." At act.tv, we usually try to give they're the same people who come out, to troll these events. We try not to give them a platform, obviously, and usually they just stand there with their signs.
Hi, how are you? Good. Are you going Wednesday? I can't see anybody today. Oh, wait, what? What's that?
Again, this is the Deportee Suitcase March in New York City outside of the ICE building near Foley Square. The hashtag for today is "What would you bring?" Please share, please like, please leave a comment.
Let people know why New Sanctuary Coalition called us here today. Let's listen and follow the lead of these young sisters who want to lead us in some chance. Let's give it up for these young ladies. Okay, so I don't know if you guys heard it, so just repeat after me. ICE out of NYC. All right, so let's do it. Okay, so it's gonna be ICE out of NYC. So just repeat it, and we're just gonna go faster and faster. Okay. ICE.
I want to show you this suitcase. It's literally melting ice, and it says meltingice.us. I'm going to see if I can get around it.
ICE out of NYC. 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 ICE out of NYC.
It's kind of hard to read right right now, but this says meltingice.us. It's a suitcase and it's obviously melted. Made of ice and melted.
One's over on the other
People are chanting ICE out of NYC.
ICE out of NYC.
This is the deportee suitcase march in New York City outside of the ICE building near Foley Square. People have lined up suitcases because when a person who is detained is about to be deported, their family or loved one can pack one suitcase with 25 pounds of items. One of the organizers had to do this for a friend of hers, and so she had this idea and organized this march.
Melting ice! 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 All right, everyone, we are going to melt this ice. We see the ice melting and it takes a minute and it takes some heat. Let's show them the symbol of our resistance by raising our fists and saying, no hate, no fear, immigrants are welcome here. Put up your fists, everyone. Fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. Thank you so much. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear.
Here's one of the suitcases. The book Lord of the Flies is in there. A Metro card, maybe as a reminder of New York. A watch.
No fear. Immigrants are welcome.
A photograph of the beach. It looks like an iPod and some clothes.
From the Lower East Side Girls Club, Ayla. We are grateful to be led by you, and as you keep thinking of this, you get us started, okay? We're going to follow you. Thank you so much. My name is Kaji Dosha. I am the senior pastor of the Park Avenue Christian Church and also the co-chair of the New Sanctuary Coalition here in New York City. We're going to try a few different ways for you to hear from us up here. All right? Can you hear? Okay. All right, so it is my honor and privilege to introduce our first speaker today. Her name is Janice Hussein. She is my friend, my sister. She is a tireless worker for the New Sanctuary Coalition. And she comes here with a story of hope. She is one of the smartest people you will ever meet. You always want Janice on your side. If Janice has stood up for you, in your case, will you please shout her out, please? Come on, everybody.
There's probably about 200 or 300 people here outside of ICE.
I hope that it will inspire all of us to know that when you resist the evil of this administration, when you stand up for what is right, you can overcome. And we will not be distracted by the voices of people who are lost, by these people who have been
pack if my loved one was going to be deported. I was stuck, paused. I didn't know what to say. Because June 2016, ICE took my husband at midnight to deport him. I didn't have the opportunity to pack a suitcase. He didn't get on a flight. He told them to take him back to the jail, and he stood back and he fought. Now that I think about it, I would have packed my wedding band because we made a vow till death do us part, and we made a promise we weren't going to give up a fight. This year, we won our fight, and we're standing with families to help them win that fight every single day, and we're not going to stop until we abolish ICE. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
I'm just going to see if we can get closer to the speaker.
What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. We're going to get that, and we're going to abolish ICE. Thank you so much, Janice. We will not be distracted by evil because that's the whole point. We are a movement of families. We are a movement of love. We are a movement that protects children and the people who love them. And we will not be distracted. So now we are excited to welcome up here Judith Paez, who is another leader with New Sanctuary. Woo! Where may find you? Come on, Judith. Just hold it close to your mouth. I'll hold this for you.
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
I am here today because I am reading a letter from an inmate, a lady that is in jail. She wrote this letter to tell whoever may be interested in knowing about the justices and problems we have in this place due to racist practices of some correctional officers responsible for our care.
Shall we mic check? Let's mic check. Mic check!
Mic
check!
Mic check!
Mic check! Mic check!
Mic check!
So start here, in particular.
In particular, we want to mention Correctional Officer Williams.
We want to mention Correctional Officer Williams,
who spends most of his days and weeks here. Starting at 6:30 in the morning.
It started at 6:30 in the morning.
Until 2:30 in the afternoon.
Until 2:30 in the afternoon.
4 days every week.
4 days every week.
Our unrest with this person is due to his continuous unjust actions.
It's due to his continuous unjust actions.
Such as 1. Not letting us go or not letting us know about the EGD classes.
Not letting us go or not letting us know about the GED classes.
He says he has the power.
He says he has the power
of not letting us go to those classes.
Of not letting us go to those classes.
Without real reasons.
Without real reasons.
To make those decisions.
To make those decisions.
Number 2. If, for instance, we go to the yard in our breakout. He does not let us go back to our classes afterwards.
He does not let us go back to our classes afterwards.
He is not fair when it comes to resolve problems.
He's not fair when it comes to resolve problems.
Or conflicts among the inmates.
Among the inmates.
If a Hispanic and a another inmate have a problem,
If a Hispanic and another inmate have a problem,
Correctional Officer Williams never decides.
Correctional Officer Williams never decides
In the Hispanics' favor.
in the Hispanics' favor,
Even if the other inmate
even if the other inmate
caused the problem.
caused the problem.
Number 4.
Number 4,
He cuts the phone calls of Hispanic inmates.
he cuts the phone calls of Hispanic inmates.
He doesn't do this
He doesn't do this
with other inmates.
with other inmates.
He has a bad attitude
He has a bad attitude
in general toward us.
in general toward us,
And he does not respond
and he does not respond
to simple petitions,
to simple petitions,
such as opening a door for us.
such as opening a door for us.
Number 6.
Number 6,
In a few words,
in a few words,
he is a very racist person.
he is a very racist person,
And he abuses his authority constantly.
and he abuses his authority constantly.
7.
7,
We do not have any complaint in relation to medical attention.
we do not have any complaints in relation to medical attention.
8.
8,
We have a very poor and simply dentist care.
we have very poor and simple dentist care.
One can spend months
One can spend months
here inside without being able
here inside without being able
to do a dental check.
to do a dental check.
There are people that have spent years
There are people that have to spend years,
here and their teeth are completely ruined.
and their teeth are completely ruined.
They don't do actual dental treatment here.
They don't do actual dental treatment here.
They only take teeth out.
They only take teeth out.
9.
9,
One of the worst services here is the food.
one of the worst services here is the food.
It is scarce and without any nutritional complement.
It is scarce and without any nutritional complement.
Several people fall
Several people fall
or are too weak
or are too weak
due to bad alimentation.
due to bad alimentation.
10.
10,
We do not have good drinkable water.
we do not have good drinkable water.
We have to drink tap unfiltered water.
We have to drink tap and filtered water.
And we have gotten sick because of this.
And we have gotten sick because of this.
These are the claims of a people that is in jail.
These are the claims of the people in jail.
And like this lady, many, many thousands in there are suffering.
And like this lady, many thousands are in jail suffering.
This is a personal letter she sent.
This is a personal letter she sent.
I am writing to tell you
I am writing to tell you
what I feel here.
what I feel here,
Locked up in this place.
locked up in this place.
Sometimes I feel that my life
I feel that my life
has no meaning.
has no meaning
Because it is so difficult
because it is so difficult
to go through this without being able
to go through this without being able
to talk to my family.
to talk to my family.
Here you get to know
Here you get to know
who your real family is.
who your real family is.
Because some people turn their backs on you.
Because some people turn their backs on you.
They don't support you.
They don't support you.
And you feel all alone.
And you feel all alone.
Until you start feeling that you don't have anything at all.
That you don't have anything at all.
My life has been so difficult.
My life has been so difficult.
Because in my country,
Because in my country,
I experience experienced difficult situations.
I experienced difficult situations.
And now life confronts me with this.
And now life confronts me with this.
Every day I pray to God.
Every day I pray to God.
For Him to help me.
For Him to help me.
To have patience.
To have patience.
And to imagine that someday.
And to imagine that someday.
I will get out of all this.
I will get out of all this.
Because this confinement.
Because this confinement.
Sickens me.
Sickens me.
But I have also realized.
But I have also realized.
That there are good people.
That there are good people.
In this world.
In this world.
That are going to help me.
That are going to help me.
To get out of this nightmare.
To get out of this nightmare.
People mock you even more.
People mock you even more.
When you don't speak English.
When you don't speak English.
I want to thank you for all the support.
I want to thank you for all the support.
And your confidence in me.
And your confidence in me.
They are a source of happiness.
They are a source of happiness.
Every day I spend here.
Every day I spend here.
It makes me feel.
It makes me feel.
That one day.
That one day.
I am going to be free.
I am going to be free.
That I am going to be part of this country.
That I am going to be part of this country.
And I will be able to live in peace.
And I will be able to live in peace.
If God allows it.
If God allows it.
Once again,
thank you. Thank
so much for your support.
Thank you so much for your support.
You're watching ACT TV, where people have gathered outside of the ICE building in New York City near Foley Square. A woman just read the letter of a woman who is in detention. The reason that they did a mic check is because there's a group of trolls across the street. It's the same ones, you know, but there's another counter group that formed, and there was some yelling, and so that was why they did a mic check.
To head over to Broadway, where we are about to drown out their
This
noise.
is the deportee suitcase march, where they asked people. So what happens is when people are detained and they're about to be deported, a loved one can pack a suitcase with 25 pounds worth of items. So what one of the organizers actually had to do that for a loved one. So she got the idea to ask people, what would you pack, and organize this march. So that is the hashtag, what would you pack? Again, this is the deportee suitcase march. We're outside of the ICE building in New York City, where there's a few hundred people here gathered on the streets right now. We're going to go back to the speakers.
Perpetrated against immigrants in our community and in our country. I speak to you today as a cantor, as a faith leader of East End Temple who is so proud to be co-sponsoring this march. I speak to you as a member of the Jewish community for whom being exiled, being wanderers. How about this way? Yes, okay, we figured it out. Okay, all right. I'm Cantor Shira Ginsburg. I'm here to speak to you on behalf of East End Temple as their cantor, as very proud co-sponsors of this march, and as a member of the Jewish community for whom being exiled, being wanderers and strangers in strange lands over and over again is an all too familiar historical narrative. I can quote words of Torah, when strangers reside with you in your land, you shall not wrong them.
That's right.
The strangers who reside with you shall be to you as your citizens. You shall love each one as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I speak as a concerned citizen about our government's violation of international and domestic laws and of due process in its treatment of immigrants in our country. But today I also want to speak to you on a much more personal level, because this is personal. Because the story of immigration is my family's story. My grandparents are Holocaust survivors. They were resistance fighters. And after having lost everyone they loved, they spent 4 years in a displaced persons camp in Germany, where my father was born. They came here when he was 4 years old. So when I speak of immigrants, all I have to do is look in my father's eyes. After facing unspeakable horrors, they fled persecution and violence and sought a safe haven, a home where they could feel secure, where they could work hard, build a family, and watch that family grow and thrive. That is the America they came to. The America that gave them the opportunity to live, to work, to flourish. And in many ways, the immigrants of today are here for the very same reasons, fleeing violence, persecution, seeking a safe haven where they can lay roots and work hard and contribute to our society. But these immigrants are not being afforded the same dignity, the same humanity, the same security as my family was. In contrast to the previous administration's policy of prosecutorial discretion that prioritized the deportation of only those convicted of serious crimes or who posed a national security threat, we now watch in horror as ICE arbitrarily grabs anyone they encounter with an accent, with brown or black skin, as they target law-abiding, hard-working immigrants who are part of our community and the fabric of our society, as they arrest and later deport immigrants at hospitals while they are seeking medical care, at school bus stops while they are picking up their children, or at county courthouses while seeking legal rights. According to the data from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, in 2017, there was a 171% increase in arrests of non-criminal immigrants living in this country from the year before. And in the coming months, an increasing number of people who have lived in the U.S. lawfully for years and even decades will become undocumented or forced to leave as the Trump administration is ending temporary protected status for hundreds of thousands of immigrants. None of this makes our country safer or more secure. Rather, it tears at the very fabric of our communities and undermines the very foundation of this beautiful country built by and made great by immigrants.
All right.
The most basic values of human rights and human dignity are the most basic of Jewish values. Values that most of us from any faith community or background share, and they are being desecrated and defiled with each hardworking, law-abiding immigrant that is captured and deported. A little piece of the soul of our country is deported along with them. This is not the America my father and grandparents waited 4 long years to emigrate to. This is not the country they were so proud to be welcomed to and to call home. This is a country I almost don't recognize, whose treatment of immigrants my grandparents would be ashamed of, that I am ashamed of. Jewish people are not a people who wait for justice to come to us. We do not wait for God to do God's work. We are a people of action that understands it is up to us to do the work. It is up to all of us individually and collectively to be the good in the world, to pave a path of justice and peace. We have a moral imperative to stand up for immigrants, to speak out, to show up at protests and at congressional offices, and to bring humanity back to our country. It is up to us to be the voices of those who are most vulnerable and live in fear. For the people who are strangers in our midst are not really strangers at all. They are our neighbors, our students, our co-workers, and our friends. Really, they are just a reflection of ourselves. So, my fellow Americans, I invite all of us, let's take a long, hard look in the mirror and together begin to right these wrongs. Thank you.
So we have a family who is getting father is going to be supposed to be deported on Saturday.
All right, thank you so much. And now we are here, we're going to hear from David Vergara, who's a member of Make the Road New York and Staten Island resident.
This may not have batteries.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name is David Vergara. My name is David Vergara, and I am a member of Make the Road New York. As a single parent, it is painful to see what's happening at the border. Children are taken away from their parents for the parents' arms. For any parent, this is unjust and a new human. For your child to be taken away from you just for trying to come to this country while escaping from violence, poverty, and in the search of a better life. Unfortunately, the crisis is not only happening at the border, it is happening in our community. Here in New York, we have CNN with the cases of Pablo Villavicencio and Concepcion and Margarito Silva. Two families were separated when they were under ICE custody. And that's why I'm here today. I am a single father of my... I am a single father of my 11 years old. Can you hold me? 11 years old. I cannot begin to think what I will feel and how much I will suffer if I was separated from my daughter. With me, I have these suffered animals that I bought my daughter when she was 6 years old. The teddy bear is a hanging a little bear, which me represents the relationship I have with my daughter in the event that we are separated. But this teddy bear will give me the strength and courage I will need to fight for our reunification. And I hope this never happens, that I am never separated from my daughter. That's why I and all of you here, we have to raise our voices against ICE, which only separates families and puts them in cage. No more abolish ICE and the unfair policies of the administration. The ICE we say families belong together. My name.
Okay, we are, now we would like to hear from Katie and McKinsey. Kadian is currently facing deportation, y'all. She's been asked to surrender her passport. Her daughter is a U.S. citizen. Because her daughter is not a minor, they don't allow her to wait with her own mother when she goes to check in at ICE in this building. And Kadian, where are you? Come on up.
The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein. Amen? Amen. 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 We will keep families together. Yeah. We will keep families together. Speaking for myself and everyone that is a single mom that is facing deportation, I count that as wicked of the land. And the rules that states that to separate single parents from their children is wicked. We have to keep families together.
We're hearing now from a woman who is facing deportation.
I have 3 U.S.-born citizens, and according to Trump's administration, want to separate me from my 3 children. They are who I have, and I am who they have, and we will stay together. We will stay together. We will stay together. We will stay together. Abolish ICE. Abolish ICE. Abolish ICE. Abolish ICE. We will not be defeated. We will not be defeated. The enemy will not defeat us. He will not defeat us. The enemy will not defeat us. The enemy will not defeat us. Me and my children and all the other families that are out there that are facing deportation, they have been separated, they have been treated unfairly and inhumane. We say, melt ICE forever. Melt ICE forever. Melt ICE forever. Melt ICE forever.
Viola Hossa is here. I just spoke to her. She checked in with ICE this morning at 9 o'clock. As she came, come on up. As she came, she and her husband have been told by ICE that they need to appear to be deported on August 23rd. Don't go! And we will stand with them. Will we stand with them? Yes! Should they stay here? Yes! Let's hear from Viola. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Viola.
No, you have to put it right on your
okay. My husband and I was been living here for 14 years. As we speak, my husband, I still at work so he can support my family. Okay. Hi everybody! I have 3 young daughters. The ICE want to deport my family back to my country, to Albania. I am desperate and I want help. Back in Albania, my family wants to start from the square one.
Okay, let's try again.
My name is Viola. My husband and I have been living in the U.S. for the past 14 years. As we speak, my husband is still at work so he can support our family.
Talk like I just did. They'll hear you.
Okay. From the beginning?
No, just I have.
Okay.
I have 3
I have 3 young daughters. The ICE want to deport my family back to Albania. My family they have to start from the square one. My kids, they born here. They are U.S. citizens. All their life was here.
My family, if we are deported, will have to start from day one. My kids, I have 3 kids. They were all born here.
I personally think it's unfair to my kids and have grown up in the U.S. and only know the American culture to have to go to a country that they are completely unfamiliar with.
I personally think it's completely unfair that my children who are born here and don't speak the language in Albania would have to go back to a country that they are completely unfamiliar with.
It's not fair for my kids to go back and come here decades to come here again.
It's not fair that I would have to leave this country for a decade before ever being able to come back again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
gathered outside of the ICE building in New York City for the Deportees Suitcase March. We just heard from some speakers who are facing deportation. Please share, please like this video, and if you're watching, the hashtag is what would you pack.
My name is Agustina, and I'm here representing my mother, who on April 14, ICE went into our home in East Harlem and took her into 26 Federal Plaza.
Can you yell it, or do you want me to yell it for you?
My name is Agustina, and I'm here to represent my mother, who was taken in by ICE on April 14th to be deported. Okay. My mother, who along my father raised my brother, my sister, and myself, and we became the first Mexican American to graduate from college from our whole family, is now being questioned whether her stay in the States is even valid. My mother and my father, who raised my family, including children who were the first in this Mexican family to graduate from college, are now being sent away, or trying to be sent away. My family, like many, believes that the North was safe haven for immigrants. We believe that we lived in a sanctuary city, and the reality is that we don't. Now, as the oldest, I find myself having to say about temporary legal guardian for my 12-year-old. My family is now having to place me in a position to be a guardian for my 12-year-old sister. No one deserves to lose their loved ones in life. No children, no person deserves to live without their loved ones. There is nothing that can fit the void and emptiness that's left inside our heart when they are removed by force. No one deserves to have to be separated from their loved ones. No one deserves to have to be put into this position. Thank you so much.
I just want to show people who are watching the view, what it looks like across the street. So in front, that red banner is Occupy ICE. There's been an occupation here in New York at Foley Square for quite some time. So you have the red banner, Occupy ICE, and these people are in front of Trump supporters. But look at the amount of the police. Look at how many police there are. And it's just, I find it excessive.
Good afternoon. My name is Luis Yumbla, and we came from the Hudson Valley, from Westchester area. We came here to say enough is enough. The pain of the community is too much. We don't need just us to abolish ICE. We need to abolish the system, because the system creates. Today, I'm here with several families from Westchester. Look at these kids asking for their dads every day because they are behind bars for months in Alabama and Louisiana. And now, ICE is scheduled to deport 2 fathers back to Ecuador. This is unfair. And I want to tell the sister of one of the people who might be deported this Saturday. So we asking the people to make it a miracle to stop this deportation.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I would like you to take a look at this beautiful family. This is my brother's family. This is how his family used to look 5 months ago. Now he's gone, and probably he will be gone for many, many, many years. He is scheduled to be deported.
deported this Saturday. And by deporting him, the USA will not be just deporting him. It will be deporting my nephew's dreams, their future, USA citizen future. Because if he's not here, his family cannot survive by themselves. He was the one who supported them financially and emotionally. He is the main part of his family. But if he's gone, it's like a body without a head. What 3 children can do if they are left here alone with no support of their dad? I want you to please help us to detain his deportation. We're desperate of a miracle. And you can be that miracle for us. You can be that last hope. I am really hoping that between you, there is someone who has the power to detain his deportation. I am speaking to you with my heart in my hands. If you can help me, help keep my brother's family together. He does not deserve that. His 3 children does not deserve this. They are only children. They don't know about borders. They don't know about laws. What they know is that they want their loving father back. What they know is that they want their back to take their father to their soccer games. They want their father to take them to the park. They want their father to bring them food to put on their table. They want their father to tackle them in at night. That's the only thing they want. They're not asking for much. That really sounds much to you? We're really asking for your help. Please help us to detain my brother's deportation. Please help us. Thank you.
We are going to keep fighting. We are going to keep the hope. Even if it's over, we're not going to give up. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for making America great, because we need to support each other. We need to love each other and protect each other. No more deportation, my friends.
So I was just told that the performances, there are performances on the other side on Broadway, so I do want to take a trip around and just see if we could see those performances. So I'm gonna walk with you. Just be patient for a couple minutes while I take a trip around Broadway. I was told that that's where the performances are. So this is the ICE building here on the 12th floor is where they have the offices. We just heard from people who are facing deportation. They're facing the separation of their families. The organizers of this march, which is the Deportee Suitcase March, felt like it was necessary to ask the question, what would you pack, which is the hashtag, because when people are detained and facing deportation, a loved one can pack 25 pounds in one suitcase for them. One of the organizers of the march had to do that, so that's why they did this march. And then if you could see here, these are obviously not real, but it says ICE Air Operations, because there are airlines that are helping basically with these deportations. One of them is United Airlines, but there's a whole bunch, and they, I believe if you could find them, if you did a little bit of searching. Okay, so we're coming around. We're now on Broadway. I don't know if you can hear, but it sounds pretty amazing. So let's see what's going on. This is right outside 26 Federal Plaza, again, where ICE offices are. On the other side, there are speakers. On this side, we have performances. People aren't listening to that, obviously. Let's see if we can get closer.
Deportations! No borders! No nations! Stop the 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 deportations! No borders! No nations! Stop the
about the individual lives that are being affected by what this administration is doing and what has been going on for many years before this administration. How families are being destroyed, how lives are being destroyed. We're all here because we care. I'm not an activist and I don't have a lot of words, but I have my voice. And we all have our voices. And we can all use our voices in a way that will be understood beyond words, through song, through music. And so today, I'm hoping that you will all sing with me. I'm going to teach you a couple of things that you will all raise up high so that the people who are suffering through this, the very individuals whose lives are being directly affected by this, can feel our energy and feel our caring. So if you would all just clap with me to this rhythm. I'm going to put this down since there's no stand. Lift every voice and sing.
How did you not hear it? What? What's wrong?
Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. brother? Your little sister? Your friend? Okay. Will you come up with me? Ma'am, will you come up here with me?
So if you're watching Act TV, this is the Deportee suitcase march, and this now we just heard from speakers on the other side. Now we're on Broadway where there are performances. Reverend Billy is here. I was told that he has not performed yet, so we'll see him. On the other side, there's probably 200 or 300 people at least. Here, I guess, I don't know, maybe a little over 100 people on this side?
This song was written by Dr. Regan, who sings with them. They're an all-female a cappella heritage group. And the song was written about Ella Baker. It's called Ella's Song. And what I really love about the song, the message of the song, is that it's inspiring us. It's a
if you're watching Act TV right now, please share, please like. That gets us more views, and it tells Facebook that people are watching our stream, that this is important. The hashtag is what would you pack?
Similar feelings, similar emotions, and we can all stand with each other no matter what those superficial differences are. And this song is calling us all to remember that the work is ongoing, and sometimes it's draining. Sometimes we feel tempted to lose hope because we get so angry about all of the injustices that are happening. But this song is reminding us that we have to push forward, we have to find inspiration and hope, and we have to do that by supporting each other and standing with each other. So I'm going to teach you guys some of the lyrics, and we're all going to sing it together. So, the chorus, the refrain is very simple.